Okay, so this is our last activity for PMLS2. We have activity 9, which is preparation and handling of non-blood specimen. So objectives for this activity is that at the end, you'd be able to identify the different non-blood specimen for laboratory testing, describe the various tests performed on different non-blood samples, to discuss the collection and handling procedures for different non-blood specimen, and to collect and process samples of urinalysis. So note that this is just superficial discussion. So those non-blood specimen will be further discussed. No? In individual uh, professional subjects in your second year and then third year. So you have your clean chem, you discuss more about serum, no? Same with immunosero, no? So pag-aaralan niyo yung serum. And then for clean chem, also plasma and whole blood. For hematology, of course, pag-aaralan niyo yung blood specimen, no? For bacteriology ay iba-ibang klase, no? So doon, halos lahat doon natin maidi-discuss yung iba't ibang klaseng non-blood samples and how they are processed in the microbiology laboratory. So, so let's start with urine. No? So ito naman yung pinaka-common na non-blood. Okay? So hindi na kailangan ng invasive procedures. So kailangan lang ng patient na umihi. Okay? So you have a specific container for that, usually wide mouth, and collection maybe one sample per day to two sample per day, depende sa request no, ng physician. Okay? So, kailangan sterile yung container natin, may label. Okay? For adults, walang problema. For women, midstream clean catch, no? Ang pinaka-ideal. So, midstream kalagitnaan. So, yung first few drops are uh, not included. Also, yung last few drops are not included. So, yung pinakagitnang daloy no, na urine. Clean catch meaning dapat hindi dumikit sa skin or sa pubic hair, yung mouth ng ating container. Alright? So usually early morning din. No? So early morning midstream clean catch ang pinaka-ideal na sample for assay. Okay? So there are cases where we could collect 24-hour urine sample pero hindi na natin yan masyado ginagawa ngayon. Pero may mga tests or assays na that is requested. Also, may mga cases where catheterized urine is collected. So pwede naman no, for a women. Sa mga lalaki, walang problema. Kaya all they need to do is to make sure na ma-shoot dito sa container ang ilahang wee. For babies, they would need yung mga wee bags, no, na may adhesive yun na pwedeng idikit dun sa genitalia ng mga baby. Okay? Ang problema lang doon, minsan matanggal, no? O sumayabo ang wee. Alright? So, So marami ibang-ibang klaseng urine samples na pwedeng i-assay. So we have the random urine. So ito yung pinaka-common. It could be collected any time of the day. Okay? Pero syempre, i-advise ng patient to wash or to cleanse the area, especially kung babae. Kasi pag hindi nag-wash, maraming sumasama sa urine. Okay, so maraming epithelial cells na magpo-float-float dun sa sample niya. Okay? And then meron din tayo no first morning or 8-hour urine sample. So they're usually collected as soon as the patient wakes up. No? So maganda yung first morning urine. It's ideal because it's concentrated. No? And then ideal siya for yung ating physical exam. Yan, no? So pwedeng, ito yung dalawang example na. So marami. So additional urine samples, we have yung double voided urine. Okay, so This is done to test and analyte at two specific times. Okay, so morning and then sa afternoon, no? Pwedeng ang initial urine sample is kinokollect after pinainom ng ah, ng water, no? Ah, or magkolektahan siya tapos painom mo ng dalang tubig. And then after some time, pag naiihi yung pasyente, kolektahin mo na naman ulit. Yan, no? And then of course, meron din tayo ng timed urine sample, no? So, we collect at specific times during a 24-hour period or after a particular activity. Meron tayong mga ganyan. Like, for example, after coitus, no? So, mag-collect ka or after prostatic massage, mag-collect after. So, may mga ganyan tayong specimen. Okay? And then for urinary analytes, no, na may diurnal variation like catecholamines, electrolytes, no, usually may ibang high in the morning, low in the afternoon, meron din namang ibang low in the morning and then high in the afternoon or high sa evening. And then of course we have the 24-hour urine where no sa beginning yung first morning urine no ng araw na yon dinidiscard niya. And then all the subsequent urine is collected, including yung first morning urine kinabukasan para makompleto yung 24-hour urine. So again, sa 24-hour urine, yung first morning na urine nung unang araw is discarded, no? Yung first hour. And then yung uh, first morning urine towards the 24th hour is connected. Okay? So, aside from the first morning urine sa first hour, no other urine sample should be discarded. Okay? And then, inire-refrigerate yun at 5 degrees Celsius. No? Uh, or pwede namang gumamit ng chemical preservative like hydrochloric acid, but as much as possible, wala lang. Okay? So, madalas we use this to determine 24-hour distribution of urine chemical output gaya ng creatinine clearance. So for males, silent naman kaayo ang males, no? So again, they should, no, ideally wash the or cleanse the genital area with uh, soap and water, dry the area, and then collect, okay, yung sample. I-shoot lang talaga naman. Gaya nung nakikita natin din sa picture, i-shoot lang. Wala namang problema. Now, for females, ito yung challenge. Okay? So, ang challenge sa mga babae, kasi syempre, kung mangihi, no, kay mag-squat, kay para ma-shoot og taman. And as much as possible, no, clean catch, hindi mag-touch sa mouth ng container, and as much as possible, free, no, free flowing yung ating urine at hindi siya dumadaloy dun sa mga labia. So, ideally, buhaton is i-open yung labia. Pero minsan, it's a challenge, no, na i-maintain yan na open. So, ang ano lang talaga dun is to wash. Okay, to wash the genitals and then make sure it's dry before collecting the sample. Ayan, for babies naman, ito challenging din naman talaga to, no? So kung male baby, wala yung problema, no? So ito yung itsura ng nung wee bag, ayan. So kailangan mo lang may butas siya, 'di ba? So doon ipapasok mo lang yung tin ni male baby. Tapos may adhesive yan, yung yellow na yan, that's adhesive. So, madikit na sa skin sa baby. Okay? Pero kung babae, ing ani pod pagkadikit, so ang challenge ana kay usahay di matunong or kanang sa kalyukan sa baby, pwede kasi siyang pasok sa loob ng diaper, no, para nakadikit lang na ganyan. So, ang tendency nun, paminsan pag malikot yung baby, tang ang pagkapilit sa iyahang wibag. Now, apart from urine samples, marami tayong mga non-blood samples. Included na doon yung semen. Okay? So, uh, this is of course collected kung kailangan ng determination ng capacity ng isang male patient to produce an offspring, no? Or to detect problems sa maturation ng kanyang sperm cells. No? So doon natin kinokolekta ito. And usually, hindi ito pwede dinadala galing sa bahay papunta ng laboratory. No? Rather, this sample should be collected within the vicinity ng lab. So kung may CR sa lab, doon na siya kinokolekta. Yan, dahil tinitignan natin yung motility, viability ng sperm cells. No, hindi pwedeng or pwede naman kung malapit lang kayo sa laboratory or within 30 minutes or less. Kasi usually sa beginning malikot pa yung sperm cells. Tapos pag late mong dineliver, maluyabi sila. Okay, mawala ng pagka ADHD. Okay, so kailangan ay maidala agad sa laboratory, no? So ayan, no, kung part of fertility study. And then of course, to determine kung successful yung vasectomy, kung nagpa-vasectomy yung lalaki. So, we collect this sample to determine kung nilalabasan pa ba or hindi na, dapat hindi na siya kung nagpa-vasectomy na, no? To determine the success of the procedure. Alright? So, sa inyong AUBF na class, no, during your third year, second semester, magpe-perform lahat ng mga lalaki nito. Yan, no? So, usually may ano to uh, may preparation ang males for this particular sample. If they are told to collect this and they will pay for the procedure, they are advised to abstain from any sexual activity, maybe with a partner or by hand. Okay? So, wala. Walang sexual activity for at least 3 to 5 days. Yan, no? Para ma-determine natin. Kasi pag medyo short, no, yung time, baka hindi masyado madami yung makolekta. Marami tayong test na gagawin dyan for the sample. Now, for urine culture, wala namang pinagkaiba sa collection, no? Meron tayong pwede naman yung voided urine, pwede naman yung catheterized urine, at pwede yung suprapubic kung tawagin. No? Suprapubic is usually done for young patients where the urine is directly collected from the bladder. Pwede yun, no? Na gamitin. Ang pagkaiba lang naman talaga ay yung container dapat ay sterile. Okay? So, pwedeng i-store, no? Pwedeng i-refrigerate pag hindi natin na ipaprocess agad-agad. Or ilagay sa gray top evacuated tube. Then we have the throat sample collection. Ayan, no? So, throat swab. Usually, we do this in bacteriology, no? In cases of uh, streptococcal infections, no? Sore throat, ayan. So, nagpo-collect tayo na sample dyan. Then we have the throat sample collection. Ayan, no? So, throat swab. Usually, we do this in bacteriology, no? In cases of uh, streptococcal infections, no? Sore throat, ayan. So, nagpo-collect tayo na sample dyan. So to collect samples from the throat, usually we use a swab, no? Sterile swab. As much as possible, we use Dacron if you're trying to isolate bacterial samples. Cotton is not ideal because it would produce fatty acids that would hinder the growth of your bacterial elements. So, aside sa Dacron, you have Rayon, no? So, yun yung mga recommended swabs na gamitin. So, to help the patient control his or her tongue para hindi sige guwag-guwag yung kanyang tongue dyan, we can use tongue depressor. Okay? And then of course, ang target natin is yung tonsils, no? Yung nasa likod ng bunganga, nasa either side sa tinggil. Okay? So of course, target yung pus, yung may pus or areas with obvious inflammatory signs and symptoms. Remember not to touch the swab sa teeth or sa tongue or sa palate because that might contaminate your swab. So for nasopharyngeal collection, siguro meron na sa inyo naka-experience ito, no? During the pandemic, nakolektahan ng nasopharyngeal. So, ano lang, di ba diretso lang. So merong swab, either Dacron, no? Yung iba, cotton tip, no? So, ayan, no? Bendable naman yung wire. Okay. So, dire-diretso lang siyang pinupoke towards the back of your nasal cavity. Now, for sputum samples, so this is usually collected for, again, bacterial culture. Now, pwede rin naman for clinical microscopy, but usually we use this to determine presence of uh, TB, no? To diagnose TB, yan. So, ang lalagyan natin ay parang yung lalagyan ng gravy o ganun. So, short but wide mouth, no? Para pag dumura yung pasyente, hindi mahirap. So, for diagnosis of TB, no? Ideally, 3 samples are collected. So, 1 sample for 3 consecutive days. Yan, no? And then, syempre, isa ito sa mga madali lang namang kolektahin. But may mga cases where hindi napapaubo yung pasyente. So, pwede siyang mag-inhale ng aerosol to trigger yung coughing reflex ng pasyente para makadura siya. Yan. Now, ang challenge lang din naman pag sputum ang sample and then it's for TB diagnosis, you have to be able to identify a good sample from a non-good sample. Okay? Pag sinabi good sample, yung ating specimen ay purulent, no? O maplemang-maplema. It is sticky and thick. And then, hindi watery or thin, hindi laway. Eh, kasi wala naman tayong mapaprocess pag laway. Hindi natin magagawa ng smear yan pag laway lang yung nakikita natin. So, dapat ay yung sputum na sputum, no? Thick and sticky, purulent or uh, mucoidal. Now, for stool collection, so this can be, pwede siyang for bacterial culture, pwede rin naman siyang for parasitic identification. So, depende dun sa problema ng pasyente. No? So, ano yung kanyang reklamo. So, usually this is to evaluate gastrointestinal disorders, may it be caused by bacteria, pwede ring ma-cause ng parasites. Yan, no? So, kung parasites naman, so hinahanapan natin ito ng eggs or ova kung tawagin. No? So, kung eggs or ova, kailangan lang natin lagyan ng preservative kung galing sa malayo or kung hindi natin ma-process agad. But for bacterial culture, hindi pwede. No? Dapat i-process siya as is. Okay? Now, for chemistry tests, like for fat determination or urobilinogen, kailangan daw ng 24-hour stool collection. Kailangan din ng 24-hour stool collection usually to determine kung successful ba yung deworming lalo na pag tapeworm yung problema ng pasyente. Now, apart from determining yung bacterial elements and parasitic elements that might be present in stool, there are some cases where we determine presence of blood, okay, sa sa stool samples to determine kung may bleeding ba sa intestines ng pasyente, no? Or yung tinatawag nating fecal occult blood, no, using the guayak test. Usually, ano na yan, parang paper test na lang yan. Papahid-pahid mo na lang yung poops dun sa strip, and then magda-drop-drop ka na lang ng reagent dyan. No? So may special test cards tayo dyan. Yan. So, guayak test for occult blood or yung hidden blood. Yan. Kung tignan mo, parang normal brown tae lang. Okay? Pero yung pala, nilinatagong sekreto yung poops. Now, no, usually, pag first time, no, hihiya-hiya pa yan sila, syempre tae, di ba? So you could instruct them softly, char. Hindi mo naman kailangan gumamit ng megaphone para mag-instruct sa pasyente. So sabihin mo na pea-sized or thumb-sized na sample, no? Kung hindi naman kailangan ng 24-hour collection. Kasi baka mamaya, ang dalahin ng pasyente ay buong bowel movement niya. Tapos, pang ano lang pala, pang ordinary lang na o routine na stool examination. So, be very particular. Ma'am, gani lang yun kadako, ma'am, para lang sa imuhang tudlo kadako. No, ganyan lang. And then, ilagay dun sa proper na ano. Tapos, paano mag-collect, ma'am? So, you could suggest kung ano yung mga pwedeng gawin para makapag-collecta ng poops. Ayan. So, again, no, reminders, make sure to submit your write-ups. So, I'll be expecting your write-ups on Tuesday. No, next week, December, ano yun? Uh, 9. Yeah, so December 9. So do make sure to answer them ahead of time. Ha? Hindi answer doon pa kung kailan tayo mag-written lab exam, saka mag-answer. So written lab natin, December 9. Doon din ninyo isasubmit yung mga write-ups natin for activities 7, 8, and 9. Or 8 and 9 na lang ba ang kulang? Okay? So lahat yung mga kulang natin. Okay?